I was in 8th grade the first time I saw marijuana outside of a professional context. Until then, every encounter I'd had with it was from the other side of the badge, as a cadet standing under fluorescent lights while it was bagged as evidence or used in controlled demonstrations. Marijuana was something that existed in exhibits, in lectures, in the world of law enforcement, not in my world. Not in the hands of someone sitting next to me in class. Kyle sat next to me in the back of English. We were just two kids killing time in the dead zone between lectures when he leaned toward me with this conspiratorial look and slid his arm onto the desk. There was a hole in his armband, and from it, he pulled out a small bag of grain. He held it low under the table, like it was some kind of secret he'd been waiting to share. I stared at it for a moment, my brain processing what I was seeing. "Is that marijuana?" I asked. He grinned. "Yeah, wanna smoke after school?" After the bell, we walked to Ralston Park, just around the corner from Mitchell Sr. We ducked into the bathroom, and there, standing over the chip towel counter, Kyle rolled my first joint. The smell was sharp and earthy, foreign in a way I couldn't place. We smoked it. Went back out into the park, two teenagers doing something that in my other life I'd been trained to treat as a criminal act. But in that moment, there was no internal conflict. I didn't feel like I was breaking some sacred law. I just felt like I was doing something new. And here's the thing, at the same time, I was climbing the ranks in the cadets. I had just been promoted to field training officer. I was shining my boots, pressing my uniform, memorizing procedures, drilling new recruits. I was also spending months deep in online radicalization, marinating in the ideology of end-timer conspiracy culture. My life was this bizarre split screen, part future enforcer, part teenage experimenter. And I didn't see the contradiction yet. It never crossed my mind to reconcile them. That came later. By late 9th grade into early 10th, my end-timer worldview collapsed. The prophecies didn't hold up under scrutiny. The scaffolding of fear and certainty that had defined my teenage years cracked and fell away. And in the rubble, I started seeing things I'd been blind to before. One of them was the simple, uncomfortable fact that I was both a victim and a perpetrator in the war on drugs. I was smoking weed in the park with my friends, an act that could have gotten me arrested if the wrong person saw. And I was also wearing a uniform that symbolized my willingness to enforce the laws that would punish me for it. I've been holding those two roles in the same pair of hands without a flicker of recognition until the ideological collapse forced me to confront the hypocrisy. I couldn't unsee it. Once I saw it, I couldn't keep wearing the uniform in good faith. I couldn't stand in formation pretending I was on the side of justice, while knowing full well I'd been living under the same boot I was polishing. So I made a decision. I turned in my badge and my uniform. By that point, Officer Vargas had replaced Officer Teeter as chief of the cadets. I handed over the symbols of my authority, not because someone caught me, not because I was forced out, but because I refused to carry the weight of a badge that demanded I enforce laws I knew were unjust. I didn't have the political language for it then. I couldn't have told you about systemic oppression or carceral logic. All I knew was that the contradiction between who I was and what the badge stood for was irreconcilable. And if I didn't break rank, then I'd be breaking myself. Looking back, that was the first time I took a real stand against a system I'd once been proud to serve. It wouldn't be the last, but at 15, in that moment, it was enough to walk away. Enough to say that my integrity mattered more than the uniform, more than the illusion of authority, more than the approval of the institution I'd grown up inside. I didn't have a plan for what came next. All I had was the certainty that I wouldn't be both the target and the tool of the same war ever again.